Ed Miliband solar panel gamble. Is Britain's housing crisis ready for compulsory sunlight? Imagine this. You're a property developer already juggling planning permissions, material shortages, and the ever-shifting sands of government regulation. Just as you think you've got a handle on things, Ed Miliband, the UK's Energy Secretary, strolls into the spotlight with a plan that could change the face and roof of every new British home. It's not an April Fool's prank. It's Labour's latest solution, mandatory solar panels on almost every single new build. Sound like a bright idea or a bureaucratic storm cloud? Stick with me, because what's playing out is much more than a debate about green energy. It's a high-stakes face-off between idealism and economic reality, with the future of UK housing on the line. Welcome back to UK Plugged, the place where we take a magnifying glass to political decisions, so you don't have to squint. Today, we're untangling the shiny policy that has developers sweating more than an MP at an expenses inquiry, Miliband solar panel mandate. Let's break it down. The new Future Home Standard, which sounds like something out of Black Mirror, but is all too real, means that, under Labour, nearly every new home in the UK will be required to sport solar panels. Virtually universal, Ed Miliband declared, brushing aside concerns about cost, practicality, or whether the sun actually shines in Britain more than 3 days a year. This isn't just a step up from the previous Conservative government proposal, which only demanded 40% of a new home's roof be covered in panels. Labour's plan is all in every new home, every roof, every time. To borrow their own metaphor, you will eat your greens, even if you're not hungry. Here's where things get really interesting. Miliband claims that these panels will save the average household £500 per year. Who wouldn't want that? But there's a catch, and it's a big one. The upfront cost of installing solar panels isn't exactly pocket change. We're talking thousands of pounds per property. So who pays? When probed, Miliband shrugged off concerns that developers might simply pass the cost to buyers, claiming that he doesn't expect this to affect house prices. Because, apparently, in the world of political logic, bolting expensive tech to every roof won't make homes pricier. That's like saying your budget holiday won't cost more if you had a spa and a Michelin-starred chef. The irony is as thick as Boris Johnson's old hairdo. We're in the midst of a housing crisis where the average first-time buyer can barely afford a garden shed in Zone 6, and now we're adding more costs to the mix. For all the talk about affordability, this policy risks pushing home ownership even further out of reach. What are the people actually building these homes? Neil Jefferson of the Home Builders Federation offered a masterclass in diplomatic panic. Developers support the idea of greener homes, but they are begging not to be buried in paperwork. The government wants 1.5 million new homes by 2029. That's one new home every 12 seconds. If each one needs a bespoke exemption for shade, red tape alone could stall the process for decades. It's worth noting that 2 in 5 new homes already have solar panels, proof that the market was moving in this direction anyway. But Labour's approach is to force-feed the sector, not nudge it. Why this? Why now? The UK is legally bound to hit net zero emissions by 2050. Homes contribute 20% of our greenhouse gases. Solar panels make sense of the planet, no question. But it's not the destination that's controversial, it's a journey. Labour's plan is like deciding to run a marathon, then strapping on ankle weights for good measure. The market is already fragile, and more regulation could do as much harm as good. When the new standards hit, developers will have a stark choice: comply or face delays that make HS2 look speedy. Most will comply, and, surprise, the costs are likely to be passed on to buyers. Economics 101. Higher costs mean higher prices. Meanwhile, the exemption for shaded buildings is set to become Britain's most hotly contested category. Expect a sudden epidemic of solar challenges as developers discover nearby trees, tall buildings, and anything else that might get them off the hook. This is Ed Miliband's solar revolution, a collision of good intentions and harsh economic reality. Will it help the environment? Probably. Will it help housing affordability? That's about as likely as finding Wally in a blizzard. So what do you think? Is Labour's solar mandate a bold leap toward a greener Britain, or just another regulatory headache that will make the housing crisis worse? Drop your thought below and let's have an honest debate, because, as we know, UK politics is never, ever boring. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Because in the world of Westminster, the next wild policy is always just around the corner. Until next time, UK Plug is here to keep you plugged in.